Brian Lehrer on WNYC. Now, you may have heard that WNYC has a new podcast from cellist Yo-Yo Ma, co-host Ana Gonzalez, and WNYC Studios. It's called Our Common Nature, and it follows Yo-Yo Ma on the quest he began during the pandemic to explore the links between our shared space, the land, and our shared culture through stories and music. It's pretty amazing, as you can hear just in this 30-second montage from its introduction.
This country is built off of the shoulders of all of us.
It's very American.
I owe my soul to the company store.
Greetings, recording friends.
I feel the emotion and the power.
You can transfer that energy onto people. You really can, through music.
I could feel it in my body. It vibrated my soul.
The world needs that.
And it comes with an assignment from Yo-Yo Ma for you, perfect for this week of Thanksgiving. The podcast's host, Ana Gonzalez, joins us now. Ana is also, as some of you know, the senior producer of Terrestrials, the kids podcast from Radio Lab. Hey, Ana.
Hey, Brian. How are you?
Good. Now, before we reveal how listeners can participate, you want to talk a little bit about how all this came about? It originated during COVID lockdown?
Yeah, exactly. So Yo-Yo Ma, as you know, is a cellist, and he's very famous in the world. So the pandemic hit him in this way where he could no longer travel and go and do his thing where he's playing with symphonies and going to concert halls and gathering thousands and thousands of people indoors because that wasn't safe anymore. So he decided to take his cello outside, which was something that he had never really done before. Because even though he's like traveled the world over many times, he had rarely spent time out in the woods, outside of cities, and playing with nature and for people. So this idea really came out of playing outdoors and with musicians and congregating people in a safe way. But then this thing started happening where he felt more connected to nature in this way that really kind of refreshed him and energized him. And he decided to bring more and more people together outside with also people who were used to doing that. So it's not just Yo-Yo being like, let's go on a hike. It's working with people who are a lot of times keepers of indigenous knowledge and culture throughout the country. And along the way, he decided more people needed to be in on these conversations and performances. So he decided to make a podcast. And somehow, luckily, fortunately, I was able to join him on a lot of these trips and make a podcast.
And it does connect to his long-standing interest, which we know from his body of recordings, in connecting different cultures through his music. And as you put it in introducing the series, he can make the leap from Bach to infinity. So here's a 25-second clip of Yo-Yo Ma. This is from the Smoky Mountains episode of Our Common Nature.
Each history is part of the truth. And it's not like your truth is better than mine. It's like we have to live with each other's truths. And if we put them side by side together, we will find truth, and we can do that in music because that's what we do in music. We could put everybody on the same stage to say, tell your truth.
And so in the context of nature, the series starts in a way at the beginning with daybreak. Tell us that story. Where does dawn find you, and what are the music and the people we encounter there as listeners?
Well, the first place to experience a sunrise, at least in the continental United States, is the coast of Maine. And the people who have lived on the coast of what we now consider Maine on English maps are the Wabanaki people. So the Yo-Yo went to the coast of Maine in 2021. So this is still peak pandemic. Everyone was kind of like sanitizing microphones between speaking kind of pandemic. And he played with Wabanaki musicians, including Chris Newell, Lauren Stevens. Those are the main two voices in the episode. And they taught him the ways that they were taught how to welcome the sun And it's not even just welcoming the sun, but the Wabanaki people believe that their music brings the sun, literally pulls the beams of light onto the continent for the rest of the land. So Yo-Yo was able to learn some of this music in kind of a vulnerable way. This world famous cellist who's famous for being the very best, right? Virtuosic and knowing how to play every single note perfectly, right? But he was learning a completely new musical style. And so all of those voices and stories is what we tried to include in the episode.
So Acadia National Park in Maine, we mentioned the Smoky Mountains. I see Kentucky was a stop, West Virginia, Hawaii, North Carolina, Alaska, and you were there for all of this. Do you have a couple of favorite moments, like even ones that maybe didn't make the podcast?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, so much was left on the cutting room floor. We could make, a 10 series out of all the tape that I have. But there was this moment in West Virginia after we had gone whitewater rafting with a bunch of middle schoolers, which is in the podcast, which you'll hear. But it was after I stopped rolling. We had this amazing day of, going to a coal mine and meeting all these kids and eating all this great food. And at the end, it was like 9 p.m. Everyone's tired. And Yo-Yo's walking out of this Riverside Pavilion, and this 10-year-old goes up to him and he's like, "Hey, Yo-Yo, how do you become such a good cellist?" And he so kindly he must have been so tired too, but he leaned down and he walked out with this kid and he was like, anyone can get good at anything if you just keep practicing whatever you want to do and stick with it. And he just gave such a genuine, beautiful answer to this 10-year-old who was very, very comfortable with him. And so that energy was really what kept me hooked on going on these trips and going all the way around the world, including camping on the banks of the Yukon River with the Gwich'in people in, 50 miles from the Arctic Circle where the sun never sets and it's 3 a.m. and you're trying to sleep in a tent and you can't because it's light out. So it was just an amazing opportunity for me and for everyone involved.
You just made me nervous, though, with the image of taking a cello, probably a very expensive really high quality piece of wood, the cello, and bringing it whitewater rafting.
Well, okay, so you make a good point, and this is a secret, insider knowledge only. Yo-Yo borrowed a lot of cellos for this series, which we don't get into. But like in Hawaii, we went out on hokulea, which is a traditional Polynesian double-hulled canoe, a va'a, and you can't bring a 200, 300-year-old cello out on saltwater. It's just really, you shouldn't be doing that. So he borrowed a carbon fiber cello to go out on the ocean. And yeah, there were a couple of borrowed carbon fiber cellos, but that one in Hawaii especially was from the principal cellist of the Honolulu Symphony Orchestra. So that was very clutch and very appreciated on our part.
So I actually keyed on something real there.
You did.
And to your line that he can play, wait, let me find it again, from Bach to infinity. Listener writes, there is no gap between Bach and infinity, friends. So that's a nice point about yes. Bach. From what I've read about this project, in some places like North Carolina, hikers and others unsuspecting passersby would stumble onto these open-air, spur-of-the-moment Yo-Yo Ma performances, and the thought that Yo-Yo Ma is just traveling to national parks to play some music, and people, happen to run into him, was part of the point to get more people interested in getting out in nature once you told those stories?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think Yo-Yo wanted to surprise people who are already going out there and give them the gift of music, and then also inspire people to think you never know what could happen if you just decide to go for a hike on a random Tuesday afternoon or go with your family out on the river, go fishing with your buddies. A lot of people didn't know who Yo-Yo was, too. So that was also, sure, I think, a thrill for him. To be
yes.
like, oh, you don't have to know who I am. That's
right.
Okay.
Somebody who didn't pay a ticket to see him at Lincoln Center or something like that.
Exactly.
And people would say, yeah, there's not a bad fiddle player there. And yeah. I get the sense that his approach to participating in the music with local folks is surprisingly humbling for him. And so this is 20 seconds from the episode in West Virginia with miners whose coal fueled so much of our history.
As a stranger, I'm so overwhelmed with a sense of appreciation and gratitude for what you have done. It's important to unite all of us because you've united us once before in what you've done. So what would you like us to take away?
Beautiful. And so now to the assignment that I mentioned that Yo-Yo Ma is inviting everybody to participate in. Here he states it himself, 45-second clip.
Will you take photos of your favorite places on Earth, in nature, outside, and send them to me? Hashtag Our Common Nature. I went all across America and talked to people who love their land and want to protect it. And I learned so much, and I became so grateful for what we have that is our common nature. So if you could send me your precious photographs, we will post them and celebrate and be grateful for the home that we all share. Thank you so much.
So in our last 20 seconds, Anna, tell people how they can do that.
Everyone who's listening can go out and take photos of the places that they feel closest to nature and post them on social media and put that hashtag Our Common Nature. We will see them. There have been hundreds of submissions so far. So if you could put that hashtag Our Common Nature on your pictures on social media, Yo-Yo and I would love to see them and see where everybody is connecting to nature all over the world.
7 episodes of Our Common Nature are available now wherever you get your podcasts. Congratulations. It's wonderful. And thank you, Ana Gonzalez, host with Yo-Yo Ma, for sharing up with us. Hi. Thank you. Brian Lehrer on WNYC. Stay tuned for all of it.